Hey, Arman here. Welcome to the NSP Nutrition Show, where we cover training, nutrition, supplementation strategies, and a whole lot more. So stand by. Hey, and welcome to the NSP Nutrition Show. I'm Arman Eckelbarger.
Hey, I'm Frank Mills. Thanks for joining Arman and I today. We have a great show set up for you today, and we're trying to hurry. Hey, today's Friday for us. You'll be seeing the show on a Monday, but it's been a crazy week for us, but we're excited to get this show in today. What we're going to be talking about is what to know about the new weight loss drugs that are out there. There's quite a few right now. I was actually reading an article this morning I sent to you, Arman, and there's some crazy stuff out there. So we're going to talk about that. And of course, we've got your fan questions that we're going to talk about as well. So looking forward to that. So let's get started. Weight loss drugs. This really all started, Arman. I think back of that Instagram post that I saw where the person takes the pill and you see their belly just dissolving, dissolving fat, right? There's a lot of crazy stuff out there, but I think this is an interesting topic. Is this something that you saw in the media as well?
Oh, yeah, it's all over the media. I mean, it's either in the news or you're seeing ads. I mean, there's ads everywhere, whether it's TV or, social media, whatever. It's ridiculous, actually.
Well, there's some that are, let's say, more genuine. Others are just really, they're just not real. There's a lot of false advertising, so you really got to be careful with what you're doing and to do the research. So I think this is a great topic for us to talk about. Now, regarding these new drugs that are out there for weight loss, which ones are we going to cover today, Arman?
These are going to be the one that you're seeing the TV ads on and in other media. So, these are actually prescription designed pharmaceutical drugs. So you talk about Ozempic as one brand name. You have Wegovy, which is another brand name. And then you have Mounjaro. And, I don't know if I'm saying these correctly, but that's the three I think make the most sense because this is what you're going to see in the media. And they're all pretty similar. It's just that, these weight loss, as they call them, drugs most of them were designed for treating type 2 diabetes, which, we got a nice epidemic of that going on.
Well, the thing that's funny too about this is, which I'm sure that we've all laughed at this, and I've seen a lot of people make fun of it, is when they advertise for any kind of a drug or a pill, they have to do the disclaimer and show all the side effects. And normally the side effects are far worse than what your ailment is, right?
They always try to play that down, which is really horrible. The way that gets played down, because people, they just accept, it's not going to happen to me. Yeah, I know exactly what you're saying. So,
yeah, I mean, and on some of them, it can get really crazy. So anyway, all right. So when it comes to these drugs, where should we start, Arman?
All right, let's start with Ozempic and Wegovy. They're, from the same manufacturer or from the same type of product design. So these brand names, what they do, they both use a derivative called semaglutide. Not sure I'm saying that right, but I think it's called semaglutide. All right, and so both of these Ozempic and Wegovy, they're going to contain this ingredient, and so it belongs to a class of medications called glucagon-like peptide 1 receptor agonist. And so this is your technical stuff, and so they another name for GLP-1 agonist. So that's the secret sauce. And so the medications work by mimicking the actions of naturally occurring hormone, called glucagon, like peptide 1, again, GLP-1 in the body. So that's what these are doing. These particular two drugs are affecting that in the system.
Okay, so how did that actually work, Arman?
All right, so what happens is when you take the drug, it bind the two we're talking about, the semaglutide, it binds the GLP-1 receptors, which is in different tissues, and it elicits different effects. So the individuals with type 2 diabetes, the Ozempic is gonna help regulate the blood sugar levels, and then by increasing the insulin secretion from the pancreas in response to high blood sugar. So it's just making the pancreas work more. So I'm not sure that's a good thing, but that's what they say it does. Because the
Okay.
pancreas, if you overwork it, that's going to cause another problem. But that's for another. We'll save that. Now it also reduces the release of glucagon. So when you reduce the release of glucagon, it's a hormone that raises blood sugar levels. So it
Okay.
suppresses that. So these actions really help to lower blood sugar and improve glycemic index control. Similar to just like eating less carbs.
Okay.
So it has a very similar effect. So with
Uh-huh.
that being said, the Wegovy, it's more of a higher dose, which is more formulated. It gives you more semaglutide into the system, and this is to help with more weight management, as they call it, for individuals that are trying to reduce obesity. So now the thing is both these affect several basically areas of your appetite and your weight regulation, as they put it. And
Okay.
so, and this is from the professionals that put all this together with the proper wording and all the other good things to make it sound really good. But it acts on the hypothalamus in the brain to basically reduce hunger, increase feelings of fullness, and decrease, which should decrease your food intake. So this can lead to the weight loss over time, combined with a reduced calorie diet, again, eating less carbs, and then increase physical activity. So doing some exercise. So that's your disclaimer there. So if it doesn't work, well, then you didn't reduce your calories and you didn't exercise. That's why it didn't work. So I'm going to
Hmm.
be kind of rude on some of these things with this stuff because I'm going to bring it. I'm going to try to highlight things that I disagree with this whole pharmaceutical strategy to take advantage of people. Is how I look at it. So just FYI.
Well, no, I think you and I are on the same page there. Yeah, I'm not a big fan of the pharmaceutical industry as a whole, but anyway, that's probably for a whole other topic or show. But I was curious, you named a couple here, but how does the Manjaro work?
Okay, so that one decreases your liver's production of sugar. Okay, and so it slows down the speed at which your stomach empties out, and and food into your system, your intestines.
Hmm.
So this will help manage your blood sugar levels after eating, and that's the big thing there. Which if it does that, it's going to leave you full longer, and that feeling of being full. So that's what that's designed to do. So there's not a whole lot to it, but then there's debate back and forth on how they affect you and stuff. So
Gotcha. Well, I alluded to that at the beginning. We see the commercials that have these side effects or these things that can happen, and I guess a lot of it too that I've experienced or that I've seen is, you know, a drug is something that you take that kind of, in my opinion, makes you or actually fools your body into thinking something and making it work in a different way. And I guess that's why I'm not a big fan of it. But since these are drugs now, can
yeah,
I
they are
assume that there are side effects with these?
absolutely.
That's what I thought. Okay.
All right, so like with Ozempic and Wegovy, the list. It's not an overwhelming list like some drugs do have, but
Right,
they're going to
right.
have they're going to say headache, fatigue, dizziness, nausea, diarrhea, vomiting, abdominal pain, constipation. I mean, uh, it is what it is. So if you're willing to suffer through those things, if they affect you to get your weight loss, as they call it, then that's up to you.
Right, right.
And then Monjero is more of gastrointestinal issues, which is somewhat similar to Ozempic, but they're saying it's common and milder. So who really knows? I mean, until you take it, you're not going to know if you feel like you need to
Right.
take this stuff. So another thing that they don't really mention is these medications can affect your hair loss, can cause hair loss, and obviously the way you're doing this, it's going to affect your muscle loss. You're going to lose muscle because again, you're just doing a drug to reduce calorie intake and burn more calorie. And so depending if you're, how you're responding, you got a good chance of losing muscle. And that's what happens to a lot of people when they're doing something like this. Of
Interesting.
course, as we all know, the side effects are downplayed, like we mentioned before, like it's no big deal. So it's really up to the person, how they want to, engage it. Obviously, the medical community is going to yeah, this is fine. You don't have to worry about it, blah, blah, blah. Just like with the statin drug, they tell you, well, it's, have this long list of side effects. And then when you go in and start complaining about the side effects, the doctor doesn't even recognize it as being a side effect, which happened to my mother-in-law. So you got to be your own advocate on this stuff. So just want to give a heads up.
Wow. Well, you have to do these things at your own risk, and it's really your decision to do these things. I am curious, Arman, talked about the side effects, but how about the side effects for your wallet? I mean, how expensive are these drugs?
Well, it's going to vary, but it's only like $900 a month. I mean, what a deal.
Oh my gosh.
Give or take, it's
Nine.
more than that. It could be 900 to 1500. Just it depends on what they think they can get out of you, so to speak.
Goodness gracious,
and
that
how
is
you play the game.
that is a lot of money. Wow.
That is,
Okay.
yeah.
900 a month. Okay. Well, since these drugs are used for treating type 2 diabetes, which we've talked about previously on the show, are they covered under your insurance plan? Is that an option?
Yeah, they can be. It really depends on how the doctor writes the script. So if the doctor says, your glucose levels are elevated, we think you're pre-diabetic, then you can have them issue this. Now, there's a lot of stuff going back and forth with insurance companies on this too, because this is really outrageous pricing. But the pharmaceutical companies are very good at this stuff. But anyway, so what they're trying to do is get all these drugs covered under insurance to make more money. So if they cover, if they get the doctor to, or the insurance companies agree, okay, we need to pay for it to help with weight loss because the epidemic is creating so many problems. That's what they're trying to do. So they're, which you'll see, which I've already noticed, you see the media, they'll have things in the news saying how this drug is helping so many people, but the insurance companies are refusing to cover it. And they start playing that game, which I saw that on a report on the Wall Street Journal, which is, that's just in poor taste. I mean,
Right.
it's just not right, but that's how they make money. So they position things like, oh, it's unfortunately we can help you, but unfortunately, we can't do it because the insurance companies, they don't want to pay for it. And, it's just a shame because we'd be helping so many people. This is why I get frustrated. So they're just trying to force insurance companies to cover their exorbitant pricing, which unfortunately, this is going to happen if it does happen, which it looks like it could because of the pressure being mounted.
Right.
Then that's just going to raise everybody's insurance premiums. And the insurance premiums now are just ridiculous. I don't care if you're using Obamacare or anything. It's ridiculous. It's a mortgage payment and a half just to
Right.
have health insurance depending on your age. So here we go. Pharmaceutical companies, again, just raping. I'm being really direct here. They're just raping the public to make more money at your expense because of your issue that's created. And that's how they do it. I mean, it's just ridiculous. So people, and we're getting more into it, people need to start relooking at what the hell they're doing.
Yeah, I agree with you 100%. Now, I kind of know what your thoughts are, but I'm going to ask you directly, what are your thoughts on all this? I mean, are any of these drugs something that you would recommend?
No. Now, that doesn't say it may not ever happen, but at this
Right.
point, no. I mean, to be honest, it's not necessary. It really isn't. But first and foremost, this is your typical drug issue question. How long am I going to be on this?
Right.
Okay. Does taking this drug really solve the actual root problem of the issue? Is this going to solve me?
No.
So if I take this, and all of a sudden I don't have to worry about it anymore? Probably not. So the real root of the problem, the real issue is what people are eating. That's the root of the problem. I mean, just look around. So in most cases, just eating quality food and getting rid of this processed stuff and all this other man-made garbage will solve their problem. But big pharma is saying, "Hey, just eat what you want. Uh, we can help you with this, and we can help you manage it as long as you want it. Right? We'll help you manage it. Isn't that
Mm-hmm.
great? Just keep eating the trash that you're eating. Okay, we'll help you, but it's $900 a month.
Right.
Uh,
Right.
so if
Hmm.
someone, does need to have a jump start, with this being said, then I with the clients I work with, I just recommend berberine, which is why NSP cover. That's why we stock it, because
Mm-hmm.
berberine, it has similar effects. It's all natural. It has very few side effects, and I haven't had one person have side effects on that, and actually works, and also more cost effective. So, and whether you buy berberine from NSP or buy it somewhere else, if you don't take our advice on it, that's fine. But that does work, and
Mm-hmm.
it has the same components. It's just that they can't big pharma can't patent that to make all the money they want to make, which is just really wrong on so many levels.
Right.
My soapbox is my blood pressure's coming up, soapbox thing coming on. So
Well, I agree with you, Armin, and it's no secret with the pharmaceutical industry on the pricing of prescriptions and how outrageous they are. I've talked to neighbors, I've talked to friends, and they have either relatives or parents or whatever on pharmaceuticals, and everybody complains about the pricing of them. And a lot of them complain of, well, I tried taking this, but I couldn't take this, so now I had to go back and see the doctor to put me on something different. I
yeah,
hear that story a lot too. So I totally agree with you. It's not something that I ever want to get into. And I agree with your approach. There's a lot of more natural ways to do it the right way. And you can actually be able to lose the weight. So we're running out of time. I know that we could talk all day about this for sure, but any final thoughts that you have in regards to the topic today?
I got a lot of thoughts on it, but one would be, financially, people aren't even paying. They're just usually having a copay. They're not even
Right.
paying the real expense, but they are paying it through increased insurance premiums. And that's what I want to highlight. If people don't start changing their ways with what they're doing in nutrition and stop listening to all these professional athletes selling Lay's potato chips and Pepsi and all this other garbage, and these other high profile people pushing these kind of crappy foods, which cause you health problems. If people don't start
Right.
changing and look at that going, well, that's just wrong, and I'm not going to listen to that, then it's going to continue to happen. And so as the insurance premiums continue to go up and up, the pharmaceutical companies just keep making money because they're going to keep coming up with more stuff they can stick onto your insurance. So if you can slow down aging, slow down disease, and eat the way you need to, you can stick it to them if you want to stick it to them. But a lot of people, for whatever reason, don't want to stick it back to the food companies and the pharmaceutical companies. If we all got together, we could really stick it to them because they wouldn't make anything. But again, that's my soapbox on that one. I mean, I was just
Right.
so frustrated when I see all this again being because my wife does benefits and insurance, and she has to see all these premiums going up for the employers, and it's because of these types of drugs, and there's a lot of bantering going back and forth. Of why do we need to cover it? Because the employer, they're forced into this if their employee doesn't have a good a healthy eating style that makes them, it gives them the capacity to maintain their weight. So yeah, in my opinion, anybody that's overweight really needs to be careful in thinking these drugs are just going to solve their problem because it's not going to really solve the problem. Okay, it's just putting
Right.
a band-aid on something on that symptom. What will solve the problem is start to learn what foods are going to be healthier for them to not create this issue. Okay, and that's not going to be eating processed food. I mean, it's just people need to stop eating that. So but now if somebody does eat a jump start, because that's what the rationale is. If you take semaglutide, as a semaglutide as they call it, as a jump start, that's what they're selling this as, is that just get your weight loss jump started. That's what this is for. Okay, sounds great. I'm going to jump start it. So if you do
Hmm.
want to do a jump start, Try berberine. How much more money are you going to save? And then check the effects of that. But even berberine will not work if you do not change your eating habits. And so you need to analyze that and understand starchy carbohydrates, processed carbohydrates, ultra processed carbohydrates. This is not helping you. It's not helping you at all. And if you take that out of your diet, watch things change just in that
Right.
alone. So, outside of that, if you do this drug type of situation, in my opinion, you're just going to be in a vicious cycle, and it's just going to continue. You lose some weight, put it back on. So you go back on the drug, lose some weight, put it back on. Is that really something that makes sense long term? So, I mean, to be honest with you, Frank, and I'm sure you've been through this before. When I go to the grocery store and I watch people, I look at what's in their cart, and every time I see somebody that's overweight, I'm not trying to put people down here. I'm just trying to bring a point across.
Right.
When I see people that are overweight, I look in their cart and it's loaded with Cheez-Its, chips, any kind of processed food you can think of stuck in their breads and whatever. Okay. Cookies and that, everything else, ice cream and stuff. Is that really nutritional food that you're consuming? And where do you think that's going? And on top of that, if you're not even doing anything exercise wise, you're just making it that much easier. And the thing is, even with exercise, you're not going to burn so much of that off because your insulin's elevated all day. So having elevated insulin is a whole nother problem. So, a kid, and I'm a little fired up about this today. So, but people need to wake up. Now, I know a lot of NSP fans are already on it. They know better. Okay. But if you're somebody that's an NSP fan and you're struggling, then you need to start paying attention to the different things we have available on our website and listen to these shows because they can help you. I mean, this information can help you to get a better handle on what you need to do versus listen to this crap in the media. I mean, it's really disgusting to me. I mean, and I work with people all the time, and I'm getting great results, and I keep myself in good shape. But if you want to turn things around, to me, do not depend on the pharmaceutical company or the medical community to help you out. End of story.
No, I agree with you 100%, Arman. I've always viewed taking a drug as fooling your body into feeling or thinking something else and hiding the problem. Does it alleviate the pain or does it alleviate the symptom or whatever you're experiencing? Yes. But there's a reason why your body is going through what is going, and it's something that you're doing to yourself that's causing that. So I don't know. Like I said, we could talk about this all day, but anytime you're prescribed any prescription for any pharmaceutical drug, I'm always looking at a natural, whatever type of option there is, natural
alternative. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, Arman, a lot of great information. I'm sure you got a lot of people thinking here about not only the drugs that you talked about, but just anything from the pharmaceutical industry as a whole. I mean, it's just something that you really got to be cautious about just putting into your body, because once you put it in, that's that. It's really hard to break those actual patterns once you start taking things. Yeah. All right. Well, a lot of great information there, Arman. Definitely appreciate it. Stand by for a quick word from NSP Nutrition, and Arman and I will be right back.
Hey, and welcome back to the NSP Nutrition Show. I'm Arman Eckelbarger.
Hey, I'm Frank Mills. And hey, before we get started in the fan questions, Arman and I are pretty fired up about that first segment. And there's a lot of natural ways that you can fast, you can increase your intake of protein, and really diminish those bad habits that you have. The only reason I can say it is I did a 3-day fast, not a true fast, but I did it with NSP Nutrition's beef liver as a
Yeah.
supplement, and Armin, it helps you break those nasty habits that you have or those cravings.
Oh yeah.
But NSP has aminos. They have several products that you can naturally break these mental and physical things that, these battles that you're fighting, your cravings for food. And I think fasting is one part of it, but
Yeah.
just increasing your protein intake is good for you, right,
Yeah.
Armin?
Absolutely. I mean, that's the most important thing you can do is because your body needs protein. I mean, it's a very essential. And so if you don't get enough protein, then you can end up losing muscle. And you need to keep as much quality muscle as you can because if you lose muscle, your metabolism slows down and it's not beneficial because you need to keep it because you're going to lose it anyways as you age.
Absolutely. So please go on to nspnutrition.com, check out NSP Nutrition's beef liver, amino acids,
Yeah.
added supplementation to your nutrition plan. Make sure you have a good nutrition plan in place. It's really important and helps steer you clear of having to
Yeah.
go to the doctor and get any pharmaceuticals, hopefully,
Yeah.
for a long, long time. So it's just something that I even saw one last night, Armin. It said, if it gets in your blood, it could cause stroke and maybe liver damage and all that. And I'm like, who would take that?
Yeah.
I
Well,
mean, you got to
again,
be
they
insane.
always they always downplay it and act like,
Yeah,
well, there is some side effects and it's not a big deal, but just so you know, so that way if something happens to you, they're covered because
right.
they have a disclaimer. So that's why you got to be your own advocate because it's your body, and if something goes wrong, they're covered. It's on you because you
Absolutely.
decided to take it. So anyways,
Well, no, it's all good stuff. And what's funny is one of the fan questions today to start the whole segment here is from Ernesto. He's down in Brazil.
oh
And
wow, okay, cool.
and Ernesto was talking about the beef liver, and
Uh,
he saw a show that we talked about, a fan talking about doing the
oh, okay.
fasting with the beef liver. And I wanted to include that in the show today because I've kind of figured this all tied together. But Ernesto, he weighed 278 pounds.
Okay. Okay.
So
I don't know how tall he is, but I'm assuming he's not super tall.
he didn't say. So
All
he
right.
was focused on the weight, but he decided after watching that show, he started looking into a nutrition plan,
Hmm.
started doing protein, and his protein consisted of grass-fed organic beef,
Perfect.
uh, you know, those meats, some seafood, a lot of chicken.
Mhm.
Put that in his diet, a lot of green leafy vegetables, limited fruit,
Good.
and he would treat himself one day a week, and his
Hmm.
treat was like a peach. That's the way he would treat himself. Okay.
Okay.
Uh, in
Pretty
one
good.
month, and fasting one day a week on NSP Nutrition's beef liver, like what we talked about on the show,
Yeah.
Ernesto in his first month lost 32 pounds.
Oh, awesome, man. Way to rock. Yeah, that's pretty good.
So he cut
Yeah.
his weight and he said, thank you guys. He goes, I've tried
Oh,
diets, I've tried all this stuff. He goes, you are right. The key is quit eating crap, focus
yeah.
on
Yeah.
God given natural foods and supplement and fast. And he goes, wow, he's telling us he feels better. He has more
Oh,
energy.
yeah.
He feels
I'm
more
sure.
alert at work. Everything is looking up for Ernesto. So
Well,
positive stuff there.
he should also feel proud on top of all that too.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Quite an achievement, Ernesto. So congratulations to you.
Yep. Great
And
job.
that's why we do this show, Armin.
Yeah.
If we can
Thanks for
impact
sharing.
one person, right?
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, again, there you go. Awesome.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. We got one more question because we're getting here close on time. Uh,
Okay.
I have a friend of mine that I work with, and I was telling him about the nutrition plan, and he's a big fast food guy. He's a big sugar
Mm,
eater, but he has a
yeah.
metabolism. He's very thin,
Yeah.
and he doesn't gain weight. So he thinks, well, it's fine for me. So we were at lunch the other day and we got to talking about his intake of like sugar.
Hmm.
Every day he eats 2 to 3 boxes of like Mike and Ike's or Skittles or some kind of candy he's got at his desk. He's on the phone a lot. He's drinking Cokes. He drinks a lot of coffee in the morning. Then he's drinking and pounding Cokes all day for the caffeine to keep energized.
Yeah.
And then at dinner, he's having hamburgers, fries. They eat ice cream at the end of the day. And he always wondered why he feels like crap.
Well, there you go, man. I can't even imagine doing that for a week with that kind of
He's been
schedule.
doing it for years.
Yeah, I can't. Oh
So
my God.
I said, I'll make a bet with you. Cut the sugar for 1 week.
Hmm.
Cut the soda, the ice cream, cut the fast food, cut everything. And I'll tell you what you can eat and when you can eat it, and just try it for a week and see how you feel.
Yeah.
He says, wait a minute, cold turkey, nothing? I said, nothing. On your 7th day, you can have whatever you want. Go ahead. But for 6 days, just follow this.
Right.
So
Okay,
he's
good.
eating, grilled chicken and salad and eggs in the morning with bacon. And, he stuck to the plan. Snacking at his desk, I told him to get a handful of mixed nuts.
Yep, good.
So he said, wow, that really cut down the cravings. I
Plus
said,
is
yeah,
excellent.
it will do
Yeah,
that.
holy mackerel.
So he's cut quite a bit of it out now.
Yeah.
He
Awesome.
hasn't
Okay,
gotten
good job.
completely off of it, but
Well, yeah,
he
it takes a little
felt
time.
the results, he felt the energy.
Yeah. The body's just screaming for some quality food, and it's just been getting hammered. So he just doesn't
Yeah.
understand. What he doesn't understand is a thing called skinny fat. That even though you're not overweight looking, you've got a lot of metabolic problems going on. And so if you had some lab work done, it could be surprising what's going on. Maybe
Mm-hmm.
there is an exception where he's genetically sound to the point where that stuff doesn't bother him. But I've yet to see anybody be genetically sound to that. So, but yeah, I would put him as probably a skinny fat type of issue that he'll have to. I mean, I'd be curious to see how his glucose readings would come back. How old is he? Do you know?
He is 53.
Yeah, I'd like to see how his glucose readings are looking, and his A1C, and
Yeah.
and his biomarkers for inflammation. Could be an eye opener there.
Yeah. It could be interesting. Well, I know he is going to the doctors for a checkup because he went before and
Yeah,
after.
yeah,
So he's going to let me know, but it should be interesting to see what that comes up with. But,
cool.
it's as simple as that, something like that. He said he did feel better and he wasn't as hungry. He didn't have the cravings that he has all day. But
Well, that's
he's a
good.
sugar guy. So like he loves candy. But, I told him, I said, you can have sweet stuff. Try some dark chocolate. Try something
Yeah,
else.
yeah,
Right.
yeah, exactly.
So anyway,
All right,
well,
good
Armin, a
job on
lot of
that,
great
Frank.
information today. It was a great topic too. I think
Okay.
it's something that really is important to talk about. Stay away from the pharmaceutical drugs in every chance that you have, and try to do everything as
Yeah.
naturally as you can. NSP, naturally sourced products.
Yep.
That's what gravitated me towards NSP. Quality products, all natural, and highly endorse them and feel good about them. Also, what we highly endorse is our fans. We appreciate your content
Yep.
that you send to us. And, Armin, it's important that we get that content and keep it coming, right?
Yeah. I mean, sometimes it's a struggle because we're trying to come up with unique stuff, but we are getting input, which is helpful. So yeah, if you have something you want to learn more about, or you think would be interesting for all the NSP fans, shoot us an email or hit the barcodes there that we have available to send a message to. So, yeah, I mean, that's what it's all about. And if we can help, great. If not, we're still doing the show. So,
Absolutely. And if you would like to email, you can email support@nspnutrition.com, or you can comment right there on the YouTube channel as well if you're watching that. But we appreciate you joining us today, and join Arman and I next week for a brand new episode of the NSP Nutrition Show.
Hey, thanks for checking out the NSP Show. Go to nspnutrition.com where you can find a whole heap of resources to help you achieve stunning definition and eye-popping levels of muscularity. Don't forget, you can save 10% on your first order by using the code NSP Show at the checkout. Catch you next time.